Hey everyone, it's me, Danielle, and I got a new drawing to show and some other interesting things that happened this week. Um, One was really interesting, very different. I had run an errand and parked my car back in the driveway on Saturday. And when I got out of my car, I looked up at the sky because there was this bird flying by that it was making a noise that didn't sound normal. Uh, we've got like hawks and crows and ravens and owls and all sorts of birds here, um, peacocks, but we've got green parrots because I think they're from Busch Gardens. When that closed, a lot of parrots were just released into the wild, or perhaps they're from a zoo. But anyways, they live around in the LA area, and I see them sometimes, even in my neighborhood. So anyways, I looked up in the sky because a bird was flying by that was making a noise. It didn't sound normal. Kind of reminded me of what the green parrot sounds like, but also didn't. So I looked up and I saw this weird shape. I'm going to show you what I I drew. I'm going to share my screen. This is actually not what I drew. So this is what I saw. It was like this shape. I mean, obviously it was, I'm looking at something in silhouette because of the way the sun was and everything. But what was interesting was this tail, right? And so just now I did a search online for prehistoric birds, and I found this image. I don't know. I don't know if there's like fossils of something that looks like this or what, but uh, this is what I saw. This right here. So um, later that day, Michael Shaman comes over with his wife Doreen. We go out to dinner, and another friend, Carol, who's a Reiki master, and we were walking through my house, and I noticed this light, like something really quickly went over my shoulder from my living room to my kitchen really fast. And it was small, like a light. And I said, "Whoa, what was that?" And Michael looked in my kitchen and he goes, "It's so weird. It's like a prehistoric bird." And I was like, "That's crazy," because I saw a prehistoric bird with my physical eyes flying around in the physical 3D outside my house earlier that day. And he said it wasn't, it had come through a portal from the fairy, like Middle Kingdom dimension, and it had gotten lost. It didn't mean to come here, and was trying to find its way back through the portal, which the portal is in this room right here. I've got one there. And so Michael just helped push the bird into that portal because it was upset. So that was really interesting. That's not the first time that something has physically manifested here from that dimension. Okay. This is like the 10th time. Okay. So it's so interesting that I'm on this dimension line or something with this particular, you know, fairy Middle Kingdom line right through my house. So that happened. What else? Oh, that night was interesting because Doreen brought a Ouija board with her, and she channels somebody named Seth, and she was like shoot, 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 shoot with this Ouija board and answering questions, and I asked, what was happening with my clairaudience. Was I ever going to be clairaudient? And he said yes, but it was going to take another year or two. So I hope that I speed that along and get it quicker, and we'll see what happens. But um, he said I need to have a little chat with my higher self about that too as well. So which I did, I have done. I did a meditation, a guided shamanic journey with Danny Shea on Saturday as well. This is all Saturday. This is just one day. He talked about being like where your body gets basically ripped apart by a spirit animal so that you strip away your ego, you become a hollow bone, and you get back to spirit. That was the goal of this shamanic journey, was to meet up with a power animal and get help doing this, becoming stripped of our ego and stripped of, you know, this physical life, I guess. So I met up with a beaver and I kind of did a quick sketch because what I saw was that I got unzipped and came out that way with the help of a beaver, which is pretty cool. I actually I saw a bunch of my lives as a soldier, and I know that I had a head injury as a soldier, maybe multiple times I did. So I was receiving healing. I actually I felt like a little bit of an energy surgery on the back of my head during this meditation, um, to try to receive some healing about these injuries to my head, and, integrated with my a couple of soldiers. One I've seen before, one I knew about before, and one I don't know who it is, but he had like a beard. It was like salt and pepper. Um, and I don't know if he was like Civil War, European, Russian. I don't know where he's from or um, what he's about, but maybe I might look into that a little bit more. Um, there was interesting discussion in that group though about, I've been talking a little bit about discernment and how I feel like people are channeling information that's not accurate. And somebody had said something that a message they received from their guides was to ask yourself, am I judging? And is this ego? So even though people channel, they can also have their ego interfering, and they might be just channeling their ego. And I'm going to say this, the ego it does not have clear abilities. So if your ego is getting in the way, then you are not going to do any clean channeling. Um, so I think that these are really good questions, because if you're judging other people, then I think some ego is getting involved here. And so I just am I'm learning, and I think it's important that we all just continue to learn. But I am watching a lot of other people channeling and the information that they get. I mean, they might get one sentence. I heard somebody say, she's going down. And that's the words that she heard. That's the only words she heard. And then it became this whole story. Okay. Um, so, and it was political and it leaned away and all this stuff. So, how do you hear she's going down and then interpret a whole backstory about what that means? I don't know. I don't know what other information was given. And maybe there was more than, maybe she heard a couple of words, but then there was a packet of information or visuals or something else she didn't say. But all I'm saying is you gotta delineate between what you're hearing and what you're interpreting it, and in between is ego. So pretty important. What else? Oh, I did a drawing. I don't think I need to. I don't think. I don't think that I need to show the meditation here. Um, I saw that the first guide is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and there is kind of a funny part in the meditation where I was looking at her saying, "Wow, you look a lot like Ruth Bader Ginsburg." And then finally I was like, "Wait a minute." There's the part where it clicked. Are you Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Uh, and so that was pretty cool that I got to see her, and very interesting. Her other guide that, I kind of focused my drawing on more was this shapeshifter that went between this bluish humanoid type figure and a bluish wolf. and it was going back and forth. It wasn't half and half like I kind of drew it, but it was going shifting back and forth between the two. And then I saw this man that had a really long white beard, like really long. And the closest image I could tell that he was Russian. I didn't hear it or anything, but it just was like I just knew that the man was Russian. And he was a relative of hers from, maybe a past life or in her ancestral line. I don't know. But the closest I could find of an image of what the man looked like is actually Leo Tolstoy. But I took his hair off and I made his beard longer to like be the example. I really was focusing on just this for the drawing. There was also a dragon. I saw a dragon. So I got like 4 guides on this on the whole image. The interesting thing was, I was thinking, I don't know anything about this person that I'm doing the reading for. And there's a decent part of the population that would be upset that their spirit guide is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I mean, there's a lot of women who would be very, very excited to have her as a guide. But I was thinking, ooh, what if I tell her this and she, happens to be pro-life or very, you know what I mean? And this is very upsetting for her. I don't know. I don't know how this information is going to hit, but I was kind of getting the feeling that they were uh, like twin flames. They had a common higher self. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is an aspect of her. So the feedback I got back from the client was that she wanted to be a lawyer, but she ended up becoming a social worker who works on women's issues. So it actually resonated really well for her, which is great. I love that. I was really worried about that one. Anyway, I think that's it for this time. I had a really busy day on Saturday. I am working on another spirit guide art currently. And so I'll have something to put up next week. All right. Anyways, everyone, thanks for watching, and I hope everyone has a beautiful week.